Station of Valinda Post 2, clear and secure.
It is 6 p.m. and
Christ's name, amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a reminder to push the button when you talk.
item C is the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about any of the items on the consent agenda?
I move that we accept all the items on the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded that we accept the consent agenda as it currently reads. Any questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed do the same. Motion carries. Item D is visitors' remarks. Did anybody sign up? Okay, we have one person, Mr. James Keeler. Is here with regards to the support of law enforcement. Mr. Keeler?
It's working or not? I don't know if it's needed.
If you would, so that people online can hear.
Oh, okay. All right, it's on. Okay. I thank the council for allowing me to speak. Approximately 4 weeks ago, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, but some weeks back, I was driving down Highway 100 and I saw the sign, Los Fresnos supports its police officers. And I came to home and I called Mark and thanked him for getting that message up. I presume it was a city council effort, or it's a message from the city, and it had a great impact on me. And over the last month, I've reflected of all the institutions in our society. All of us have hired a plumber, carpenter, painter, electrician, and found we wish we had never hired them. We find there's a percentage, even in the military, an institution that I believe is one of the last great institutions of a considerable amount of honesty and integrity. But there are mistakes. And there's bad apples in the military, even though 99 point whatever percentage are wonderful people that serve this country. And even military operations, there are mistakes that cost lives. For people in the know, in war, a number of friendly fire casualties and deaths are more than we would ever want to accept and even want to know. But mistakes happen. When I reflect upon our healthcare system and the institution of healthcare, we have a lot of wonderful doctors, nurses, nurses' aides, orderlies, but that doesn't mean mistakes do not happen. And they're life-causing, life-losing mistakes. Yet none of us would say, well, let's do away with the healthcare system. And for police officers in the United States, they've been disparaged horribly for the last 2 to 3 months. I don't know what the exact figures are. I've heard as many as 60 to 100 million contacts with the public every year with the 600,000 people in law enforcement. And none of us want to see tragedy. But the amount of tragic events, over 100 million contacts, are infinitesimally minuscule in law enforcement in America. And while none of us want to see tragic events, when we look at institutions in this country, law enforcement may have a higher percentage of effectiveness and the smallest percentage of mistakes and tragedy than anywhere else in our society. Yet they've been condemned unbelievably, and there are people calling to do away with it. So having said that, I applaud what this council did. I applaud the message. I know there's other important meetings and other things, but at this time in our society, nothing is more important than what you have on that sign out there on Highway 100. I thank you for doing it, and I thank you for being proactive in making a statement for everyone in the valley to see as they drive by. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say myself that you guys do an exemplary job, and we're very proud of the work that you do. I know that we put you through a lot, and you out there responding like you should. And the other thing is, you know, if we could, we would reward you even more, because you guys put your lives on the line every darn day. And I said, you all, I salute your families, because they're the ones that have to worry as well. So they're of concern as well. And I mean, especially with this COVID-19, I don't know what percentage of the force caught the infection, but I know many of you did. And it's something that I wish we could have done something to prevent, but you guys did what you had to. And you, like I say, you put your lives on the line. Thank God everybody survived, and we're grateful for the work that you guys do. So I wanted to thank you all as well. Okay, next item is the action items. Number one, consideration and action to increase rates for garbage carts.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, if you'll recall, we had talked about that, but we decided in our budget workshop to not do it, but we had rejected. So because we already agreed to do that, my recommendation is not make a motion to not increase garbage cart rates at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we reject any rate increases for garbage.
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded that we reject the increase for garbage carts. Is there any further questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed do the same. Motion carries. Item 2, consideration and action to approve the bids received for the following: A, pest control; B, official newspaper; C, lot mowing; D, vehicle maintenance, oil changes; E, vehicle washing; F, cleaning supplies; G, chemicals; H, vehicle tire maintenance; I, fire hydrant maintenance. Mark?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and members of council, we send that out annually to all of the folks that we know of and have their addresses. We also advertise it in the paper, put it on the internet for people to respond. In your packet, you can see each one listed and the ones that have submitted low bids. And so we recommend that those and their corresponding rates be approved.
What do you mean by on the lot mowing?
Any questions?
It says they're under construction.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the bids received for the following as Mr. Mylan named them to approve the contracts.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. We approve all of the contracts as stated. Any questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed do the same. Motion carried. Item 3, consideration and action to elect members for place 1, 4 of the Board of Trustees elections for the Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool. Mark, you want to explain that one?
Yes, sir. Once a year, we get this, and what it is we're self-insured through TML, and there is people that, like yourselves, that like to serve in that manner, either sometimes city manager, sometimes city attorney, sometimes elected official. Anyway, they've got 4 places up for election, and so you need to pick one person out of each one of the place. Place 1 is, there's only one there, so I assume that you would pick the incumbent. And then place 2, there's 2 folks. Place 3, there's 3, and then place 4, there's 4. So if y'all just, I guess, someone decide how you want to do it. Some people like certain people on there. Some like to keep the incumbent. Some don't like to keep the incumbent. So that's y'all's decision to make.
So we can do it all in one motion then? Just nominate all of them?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and move that we nominate all of the people that are recommended for the board.
You'll have to decide on place 2, 3, and 4, which ones you want. You'll have to decide which ones you want on place 2, 3, and 4. because there's different people opposing one another.
But there's 4 positions, right?
Yes, sir. So you're talking about nominating the incumbents that are there? You'll see on page 57, place 1, there's only 1, so I assume that you would pick that one, so that one's easy. The next page, on page 58, place 2, there's a Chris Amacost. He's a city commissioner, and then, or you can decide John Buzz Fullen, he's the incumbent mayor of City of Henderson. So you pick one of those 2.
Okay, so on 57, then we recommend Robert Herrera for place 1.
I didn't hear you, sir. I did not hear you.
So recommend Robert T. Herrera for place 1.
Okay, place 2.
Is there a preference for the incumbent or the other one? Anybody have a recommendation? I don't know either one of these gentlemen. I would say go with the incumbent, but that's just my preference. Is there a second? The motion has been made and seconded.
Okay.
We,
Can we go ahead and do place 3 and 4 and do it all at one time?
okay,
Unless there's a disagreement with them. So place 3, then you have George Hyde, he's a city attorney of the city of Watuga. Ray Maynor, he's the city alderman, city of West Columbia. And then Jeffrey Snyder, he's the incumbent. He's the city manager from Plainview.
is there any preference? Mr. Herrera, you have a preference?
I don't know any of them. Well, I guess we can go with the incumbent there and for place 3.
Okay, then we can go ahead and nominate the incumbent Jerry Snyder.
Okay, and then one more, place 4 on page 60. It's Robert Hauk. He's the incumbent city manager from the city of Tomball. Dave Martin, city council member and mayor pro tem of the city of Houston. Kimberly Meismer, executive director of general operations in Kerrville. And then Sean Oriider, he's the city manager of La Mesa. One of those 4.
I vote for the lady. You got to have a female in the group.
That would be Kimberly Meismer. So those 4.
That's fine.
Now you can make a motion and we'll include those 4 then.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and make a motion that we appoint the individual we just named for positions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed do same. Motion carries. Item 4, consideration and action to appoint members to the Park Advisory Board. And I understand 2 of them don't have a problem being reappointed and 1 has left the area. Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Do we have somebody to replace Jerry? Do we have any applicants? No? Okay, and I'll go ahead and move that the two individuals who want to be reappointed to the Park Advisory Board, and that we look for another individual to replace Mr. Jerry Martinez. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded that the two individuals who want to be reappointed to the Park Advisory Board be reappointed, and we look for an individual to replace Mr. Jerry Martinez. Any questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed to same. Motion carries. Item 5, consideration and action to reappoint or appoint members to the Los Fresnos Housing Authority. My understanding is the individual we need to replace is got to be somebody that lives in the housing authority. Do we have anybody that's interested?
She is looking for one, and she was out last week, so she didn't have any. Leticia Puga, she's the manager, and so said she would have one or two for you to choose from next meeting.
Okay, then we'll just go ahead and wait till the next meeting, and if we can find one, we'll go ahead and appoint a member at that point.
Yes, sir, but if you want the gentleman that's serving now, Alejandro Juarez, he's serving now on another place and is willing to continue to serve. You could appoint him or pick someone else.
Okay, then we'll go ahead, and I make a motion that we reappoint Mr. Hernandez, you said?
Alejandro Juarez.
Alejandro Juarez, okay, to the Housing Authority Board. And we have one vacancy then. And then we look for another individual to replace the other board member.
Yeah, I second the motion.
Are there any other questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Item 6, consideration and action to appoint or to reappoint or appoint members to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I understand that the two, is it two, right?
There's 4, it's on page 66. There's 4 individuals that the terms are expiring, and all 4 are willing to continue to serve, so you can reappoint them or appoint someone in their place.
If they're willing to continue to serve and have been attending the meetings and everything, I don't have a problem reappointing them.
Yes, sir, they are, and they have.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and make a motion that we reappoint the same individuals to the Planning and Zoning Commission as stated.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded that the individuals who are currently serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission be reappointed for another term.
A second.
Okay. Is there any questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed to same. Motion carries. Item 7 is discussion and possible action to promote a campaign in support of the police department. Mark?
Yes, I was asked to put this on. I'll turn it over to Mr. Herrera. I think he has some ideas and thoughts and see where it goes from there.
Thank you, Mark. And I want to thank all the police officers that came tonight. And the reason that I brought this up is I'm very, very concerned about the treatment our police officers have received all over the country. And I'm more concerned about the children. How many of you have children in our schools? That's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about how your kids are being treated in the schools. Are they proud of daddy? Are they proud of the image that, that policemen have always had? And now they're being bombarded on TV with negative, negative, negative. And we don't feel that way in Los Fresnos. We need to convey this message to our little children that we love our policemen. Our policemen are here to help. And what I propose is that we light up our two main thoroughfares in Los Fresnos with blue lights in support of our officers. So when your kids and your families, your moms and dads go by there, you can tell them, they did that for me as a police officer because they love police officers in Los Fresnos. And this is just a proposal, something that I have in mind. It's not on concrete. I'm putting it out here and see how the police officers feel about this, how the members feel about this. But I definitely feel that we need to do something, especially for your little kids. Any comments for the officers or anybody else?
What did you have in mind? A week, a month?
The Christmas season, 45 days or whatever, people start lighting up, and we could even ask the newspaper to have a campaign to have people light up their homes in blue. And I feel that like Mr. Keeler, he would light up their houses in blue and just have a citywide campaign honoring our policemen all over our community. And when policemen come through our city, it would make them proud. When visitors come to the island, they'd come through and, hey, Los Fresnos, hey, is really supporting our officers. And this is the image I want to portray. This is the image that I want your little kids, all kids coming through Los Fresnos. Hey, this is a place that loves policemen.
We could, if you'll recall, our lights on the library that's right there on 100 are white. At the police station, they're white. And community center, we can convert those to blue. Our Christmas tree that's out here that about 27 feet, I think, it's pretty big. It's multicolored. We can convert that to blue. Those are 3 easy, quick things that we could do. We could also look at street lights and that might get too dim, but we could also do on our old fashioned lights and do some things to complement that.
I think that's a great idea. And once again, I would like to hear from some of your officers and see what y'all think.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, Councilwoman, foremost, I want to thank you for giving the opportunity for the officers to be here today. A lot of times the officers are not recognized for the type of job they do. We gave them the tools to do the work and they do the best. I know we get a lot of criticism as people come through our city because we're known as a speed trap. We don't want the citizens to recognize the city as a speed trap. We're out here to protect the citizens, and the criticism that's going out throughout the nation, officers being talked down and they're not having the respect for law enforcement. And I think it's a great idea what you're doing and showing the public and the community that by putting blue lights out there in the residents or along the street and support of the police officers is going to be a good thing for the officers and to motivate them that they're doing an outstanding job with our city. And I thank you for getting it up.
Thank you.
I can get with the newspaper and the chamber and have some discussions, kind of see how we can roll this out. It's early, it's September, so we could do that pretty easily. And I think you'll find that we'll have a lot of support and have a pretty good program in November and December.
I have talked to the head of the CDC, and they are 100% behind any campaign that promotes our police department.
I was gonna say that I'm in total agreement with everything that's being said here, and as I mentioned before, I mean, we have always done everything that we can to show our support for our first responders, law enforcement, fire, ambulance service, and we're very proud of the work that you do, and I agree with what Assistant Chief Rodriguez was saying with regards to the criticism we receive sometimes regarding tickets, and I think that we need to show our support because, I mean, I've been confronted with that numerous times, and I've been told, oh, the speed trap. But I say, you know, I said, they're there to protect us. I said, and we cannot allow people to violate the law because the ones that are gonna get hit or killed is gonna be the citizens of Los Fresnos. And the ones that criticize us are primarily outsiders. And I mean, there's been plenty of accidents on this east side of town. I mean, I almost had a head-on about a mile from here with a driver that was driving on the wrong side of the road. So, I mean, what you guys do is very important. And I think that we all have a responsibility to let people know that if they get a ticket, it's because they're violating the law, and nobody's above the law. So I want to thank you for the work that you do in protecting the citizens of Los Fresnos. And I've also heard good things about some of the things that you do in helping people whose cars break down or who may have flat tires, and they've given good comments about the work that you do. And I don't recall getting very many complaints about the way that you treat people. So I think everybody deserves to be treated with respect, just like we like to be treated with respect. And I think you guys do a good job of that. And whatever we can do, we're going to do to support, to show our support for you guys, to show the rest of the world that we really do support you guys in the work that you do.
If y'all approve, I will meet with those individuals and see what kind of campaign we can come up with and bring it back for final approval in October. But because we can partner with the school. I thought of the parade too. Of course, at this time, we don't know if there will be a parade because of the coronavirus. But if we do, you know, it could be a blue light parade. And so anyway, we can explore all those options. If you approve the idea tonight, and we'll bring back more details in October.
Mark, could we ask our businesses that have the marquee signs to also put, we support our police department? I think that would carry a lot too.
Also, if any of the officers have any ideas that we could incorporate, come and talk to Mark or any of us. We're open to suggestions. This is kind of a brainstorming right now tonight or today, and so you're welcome to, we want to hear your input.
Can I say something, please?
I agree.
So my father's a 30-year retired police officer from Brownsville PD. He was a detective for 30 years. And one thing that I agree with is possibly doing like a newspaper article for the amount of police that we have, like every day, to feature an officer. Maybe they can talk a little bit about themselves, how long they've been with the force, and what's important to them. I think that'll be good. And in front of Dr. Alvarez's building, perhaps putting a banner on the top, you know, call it like a Police Recognition Week or month. And that way, maybe perhaps the kids can can hand out some coloring things with the police officers, and if things get better, perhaps have coffee with the police officer at McDonald's, maybe get to meet your local police officer. That way people in the community get to know that, like Juan just said right now, that they're not just out there giving tickets, they're people too. They have the value and what they bring to the community, I think would be something that to think about. So I just wanted to share those two ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, that's a good idea on the coffee. We've done that the last 2 years. McDonald has sponsored that, so I'm sure they would jump right in and be willing to do that. And it was a neat success, something to do that brings, lets the officers, the people get to meet the officers and realize that they are good guys and gals, not just out there to try to find something they're doing wrong, but they're there to help.
I like the idea of maybe running an article on each one of the officers and just, meet your officer of the week or whatever you want to entitle it. But this will bring it up close in front. We never, unless we're getting a ticket or we're getting our packets, that's about the only time that we really see them,
I was gonna say, Mark, also, I know that our police officers do a lot of work with the school district. Maybe we can find some way to incorporate the school district in this issue as well.
Yes, we'll do that with the school. They're always real receptive to things like that.
Do we need a motion on this, Mark, to go ahead?
Yes, if we could have a motion to approve the concept of a blue light recognition, time, and then I'll come back with more details.
Okay, I move that we have a blue light campaign in the city of Los Fresnos for Christmas, honoring our city police force.
I second it.
I second that.
Motion has been made and seconded that we approve the promotion and campaign to support the Los Fresnos Police Department. Any other questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, do same. Motion carries. Item F, acknowledgement of the city manager's report. Mark?
Thank you, folks. A bunch. If y'all need to go, you're welcome to stay, but if you need to go, we thank you for all you do and the service you provide to our community and our citizens.
Thank you.
Thank you for your services, gentlemen.
Thank you, Hector.
On behalf of myself, Chief, and I'd like to thank the Mayor, Mr. Herrera, and the rest of the council for making this happen. Hopefully, it'll be a success, and it might go valley-wide.
There you go.
Thank you.
On reports, let me start with the hike and bike trails. We do have an approved contract, as you know. The contractor is scheduled to begin that on October 5th. It's about a 6-month project. We're hoping that they think that it won't take that long. So it's October to around March, early March. So that'll begin soon. Henderson Road, they're continuing. They had some struggles on the west side with a specific liner that Irrigation District number 6 wanted. And so they're working on that now. As soon as they get that piece done, I think we can get the roads opened up, except for when they pave. They're also putting the sheet pilings in. And so we're, it's on the back side of this. And so I think that we can get it done and be proud of something here before long. When we do finish, I would like to have a kind of a ribbon type of cutting. And the only reason for that is it's a great partnership because we're using tax increment reinvestment zone funds, which is city and county. I'd like to recognize them, and then the water district as well. They've always been reluctant to help funding and anything, and they have done it this time. And so, anything that we can do to promote unity and the fact that we're, got a lot of different people participating in that project. So that's down the line, but just thought I'd mention that. The census update, we're right at 55%. The census people have folks going around town trying to knock on doors and ask people if you've done the census, can they help you right then? Hopefully we'll get some more over the next about 20 days is all we have left. The rest of the items are pending. I know that there's questions still on the one-way alley signs. We do have them. We just have been, it seems like we've got a project here, and that always gets put back. But we will get to that hopefully before the next meeting and have those installed. People do a pretty good job of helping each other out if they happen to meet up, but we do want to get those one-way signs for the one section and then do not enter so that it'll be a little safer.
Any questions? If not, I'll go ahead and move that we acknowledge the city manager's report as stated. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded that we acknowledge the city manager's report. Questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Item G, acknowledgement of the department head reports. Any questions with regard to the department head reports? If not, I move that we acknowledge the department head reports as stated. Is there a second? Motion has been made and seconded that we acknowledge the department head reports as stated. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, do the same. And it is 6:44.
Good job, sir.
I like that blue line campaign.